race. Let's talk about the issues. What are the issues that have most motivated you to jump into this race?
Water, the cost of energy, the cost of food. I mean, things that are important to the Central Valley, the things that are important to the congressional district. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, but about a year and a half, or maybe even 2 years ago now, we saw some communities that were facing a 1,000% increase in their water rates because of the drought, but also because water was flowing out the ocean that was being released from the reservoirs that really there was no justification for it. And the California State Auditor, when they did the independent audit, they determined there was no real justification for it. Therefore, the cost of water skyrocketed, and I've been pressing and doing legislation to try to get answers from the Department of Water Resources. And with SGMA impacting our farmers and our communities, on top of that, we're heading towards catastrophe here. And so running for Congressional District 22, I want to be able to talk to people about these issues, because this is going to be just, I think if we don't address it, it's going to be a national security issue.
I know that Representative Valadao would propose that he's proposed a lot of legislation and passed a lot of legislation in the House for expansion of water storage. Is that a fight that you would like to take if you were elected as well? And would you like to take on the committees that he does as it relates to ag and water?
Well, I think that Congressman Valadao and I would probably agree on a lot of these things, right? When it comes to water, and yes, we need to build more storage, and we need to do it in an equitable manner so that we don't have concentrated power within one owner or one individual or entity, whatever it may be. We need to have. I think we would agree on a lot of that, right? But the thing is, it's really a matter when it comes down to the two of us, who has been the most effective, who's going to deliver, who is going to do everything that they can, inform colleagues, educate constituents that are outside your region to be able to get what is needed to deliver for the central, for this congressional district. And if you look at our track records, I have the track record of delivering.
And on another issue, which I know a lot of people look at, are the cost of gas, the gas prices in this area. Of course, being an energy, rich area here in the Central Valley, a lot of people want to see more oil production, and hopefully that would maybe lead to a reduction in gas costs. Yes. What fight would you take to D.C., and would that even mean a fight for people in the Central Valley that may be different from the way that the Democrat Party would want you to go?
I think that it boils down to energy security, food security, and water security. You've got to be able to have security across the three. You can't have food security without energy security and water security. They're connected, they go together. And so when it comes to energy security, which is a national security issue, we need to have all tools on the table. You can't say we're going to pick this and not that. I want energy security for Congressional District 22, for the state of California, and for the entire country. And that means that we really have to look at making sure that we just continue to keep energy secure, having all sources and tools on the table and ready to use them. And my conversation and trying to engage future colleagues in this conversation is referring back to that, is that we got to make sure that we maintain all three. And I think I can make the case. I've done it before in other issues when it comes to, I have to advocate and make the case at the state level. And there's going to be areas where we're going to agree, and there's going to be areas where we disagree. And that's not just, across the party lines. That's also within your own party. There's disagreements. And so if we can just unite around what we agree and have some compromise, we can deliver for what's in the best interest of the people. And
as far as the border is concerned, I know you have your opponents are on all three different fronts on this. You have one who wants to build a wall. You have another one, Representative Valadao, who wants to continue to grant work permits and work visas for people who can continue to work here in the Central Valley. Then you have former Assemblyman Salas, who talks about increasing immigration judges. What would you do if you were in D.C., and how would you negotiate to make the border a better situation than it is presently?
I think that everyone's really focused in on the border, and rightfully so. We got to meet in the middle and come up with compromise to make sure that the border is that we have border protection there. We do got to modernize some of the technology, make sure that it's science driven. We need more judges. We just to be able to expedite the legal process, because at the end of the day, this is the United States of America. We have a constitution. We have an obligation to abide by it. So that's the process of making sure that we have adequate amount of judges for people to go through that process. So, but what we also need is to look within our borders as well, because I don't think that's something that people are often talking about. I'm from the small town of Sanger. It's my hometown that I grew up in, and not too far from Sanger, there was a biolab. So one of the things that I've been often talking about is biosecurity. And now biosecurity, if there's an illegal a lab that's within our borders, we got to be able to, catch that. And, luckily it was caught in the city of Reedley, but, we got to look within the borders too. I mean, if you also, when it comes to some of the police stations that the Chinese Communist government had within the United States. Again, that's great that people are talking about the border and the need to further protect it, but we got to look within our border too to see what more needs to be done to protect within.